Go.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back. Your eyes are not deceiving you guys. NookTalk is back, and we are back and better than ever. Zach from Switch Force. Who the heck? You're here now. What's up?
What's up, Pat? My favorite podcast on the interwebs. I'm now co-hosting. Feels pretty good.
It's a beautiful thing. Zach, you're a veteran, though. This isn't your first time. You've been here not once, not twice, 3 times. It's pretty nice.
Pretty great. It feels right at home. I worked my way into your heart, hopefully the NookTalk community heart, and now we're ready to take this thing to an awesome level with an awesome show. We got a lot to talk about today. Nintendo doing some work on their end. Yeah. AC hopefully doing work soon.
Some good stuff. Maybe coming as soon as tomorrow. Perhaps? I'm going to say tomorrow, but we'll get into that. But first of all, so you've been on the show a couple times, but yes. I think just for reference sake, like, let's talk a little bit about your Animal Crossing experience. Like, you're talking a lot of it on your channel, but like,
yeah.
How much of a super fan are you? How are you liking the game?
Picked it up yesterday. It's pretty cool. Named my island.
New game.
Got a couple villagers. There's this Tanuki guy that's no. I'll tell the story quickly, but like, I was planning on skipping AC New Horizons based on what was going on, and thanks to the pandemic, the first person to say thanks to the pandemic, I ended up having to cancel what I was doing on March 20th. Got the game, and it truly blew my mind. I truly fell in love because I wasn't somebody that loved these games where you go in and do a little bit every day. That wasn't my style. And this one it won me over. I've been obsessed ever since. And the updates are where I thrive. I'm excited for the fall updates. Brewster is the boy. I need that guy in my life. Special behind the scenes little story here on my original channel, Ghost Robo. I end every video by saying, drink some hot chocolate. So that's another reason I need Brewster to arrive.
Okay. Okay, guys. So we're doing some new things. You'll see them later in the episode. But we still gotta stay true to the spirit of NookTalk. And every single week we put out a poll over on Twitter. I've been handling most of the polls. So at NintenTalk over on Twitter. You guys can see the latest polls. The poll is now closed, but for next week, it goes up the day of the show. And I gotta say, Zach, I've been putting these polls up for 2 weeks? I mean, no, not 2 weeks. 14 episodes worth. And this is the closest one I think we've ever had. And I think there's a lot to talk about. So here's the poll. Which would benefit the most from a quality of life update? And there's three things I wanted to key in on, and this was pretty close. So the thing that won was crafting with 46%. So people say like this needs to be fixed.
Right.
Dodo Airlines at 36%. So I mean, pretty close. And then we have terraforming, waterscaping at 18%. Where do you sit here? And it's kind of interesting because all three of these are brand new features for Animal Crossing. So which one needs help?
I mean, based on what I've been doing lately, it's Dodo Airlines because I'm always Mystery Island hunting. I'm always trying to visit other beautiful islands. But my vote was for the terraforming and waterscaping, just because I feel like that's the element that really could benefit the most from more creativity and more effort. It's interesting to me that crafting beat out the other two. I feel like a lot of the frustration resides in either Dodo Airlines or terraforming. So I'm curious that crafting took the top slot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like people are a bit too hard on crafting. I feel like the examples that people give, like fish bait and stuff like that, how often are we making fish bait? Like, are you guys like fishing all the time?
Every single day.
I can see why like people would want batch crafting and things like that, or, but I can't really see like a big update that I would do with crafting besides that. And I don't think that's worth a vote. I personally voted for Dodo Airlines for a number of reasons. I mean, I don't think that Nintendo intended on us like villager hunting the way that we are. Like, I don't know if they were expected for people to go on like 200, 300, villager hunt tickets. And I feel like because of that, and especially because it's a new feature, I think Nintendo should adapt and basically, like, if you talk to the dodos, you should be able to not go all the way back to the airport, but go to the next island. And I think that there's a lot,
thing, right? Like that's the hopping from island to island, expediting the time, maybe being able to travel with friends, hop aboard that plane. Solo flights get lonely. You ever flown by yourself?
I have not. I'm a
Never?
baby. No.
Wow, man. I do a lot of solo flying, and I gotta say, like, I always plan. I bring my Switch, and I'm always like, man, this is gonna be great. 4 hours to just chill with the Switch, and I never end up doing it. Just sitting there, lonely, falling asleep. But no, I'm surprised it was because Terraforming was third, right?
Yeah, that was third, and that like we talked
Guys,
about.
Terraforming needs help.
It really does. Like Zach and I put out a video over on Switch Force. You should definitely check it out. Some of your suggestions were in there, but there was a great suggestion about waterscaping and like terraforming about putting in custom heights for cliffs and different waterfalls. And there's just so much. There's just so much that you can add. I feel like crafting, although it's important, and I still do a bunch of crafting. Man, that dodo needs some updating. And like, I don't know, just imagine going on a mystery island, getting a bunch of resources, talking to who's it, Orville? I don't even know which one.
Wilbur, Pat. Come on,
Wilbur,
man.
Orville, same thing. They all blend together after 6 hours, okay? So like, you get all your resources, you could like sell them to this knucklehead and then go to the next island and keep doing that. I don't even want to get resources half the time because I have to go through 2 loading screens. And it's just like, if you land on Bamboo Island
for a split second where you could send your stuff back, send your resources back. I think that was around Mayday.
I think that is a feature, but it's in Harv's Island.
Oh, only Harvey's, yeah. They added.
What are we getting at Harv's Island? I don't get it.
Yeah, I wonder if people also maybe thought crafting like more things to craft. Perhaps that's why that one pulled so well.
Yeah.
But I love the terraforming expansion. I never think that the island's going to get bigger, but I think more terraforming ideas and options would allow your island to totally change. I love that one that we talked about the other day of being able to walk behind waterfalls. And I mean, I'll take any of the 3. If they want to happily give us any of the 3, like I will take them. But
I personally think that all 3 of those will get updated because they're brand new features for this game. So I think Nintendo kind of wanted to let it play out. And then just, see how we can improve it. But yeah, the airlines, we said yesterday about like multiple people, coming over to someone's island with 1 loading screen. It's just, it makes multiplayer just a chore. I think it's like 10 minutes for a full island of people.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. Okay. So when we made this show, like the plan for this show, we were anticipating a Nintendo Direct later this week. What was it? Friday?
Friday. August 28th was the day.
Yeah. And now this is Zach's territory because he reports on rumors and leaks and these experts that predict things. I want to know your feeling on today's partner showcase, and does this affect Animal Crossing getting its own update trailer? Because I personally think tomorrow at around 9 a.m. Eastern, you'll be seeing Jack, but that's just me.
I hope to goodness gracious you're right, because today's presentation was about as disappointing as it's ever been. I mean, does Nintendo owe us anything? No, they do not. But look, we've had Animal Crossing and Paper Mario, and that's really it. And it seems bonkers that the next game from Nintendo is Pikmin 3 Deluxe on October 30th, right? Like, that seems insane. And yet we're entering this reality where maybe that's what happens. I still think, and I'll tell you why, I still think that there is going to be a Direct at some point in September. They have a presentation with their investors, like an in-person meeting on September 16th, and they say that they're not announcing anything there. I don't know what the heck they talk about unless they announce something beforehand, because right now they show up that investor and be like, hey, you guys remember Pikmin 3? That was a cool game. We're going to show you how to use it on Wii U. No, like, they have to have something, but it is getting crazy that every time we think we're there, every time we think this is the one, we're going to find out about the Mario collection, we're going to find out about maybe Breath of the Wild 2. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't come through. But I do think, I mean, Animal Crossing is its own beast. It don't need no Direct. So I really hope that either tomorrow or I guess next Tuesday, they've been doing Tuesday, Thursday. Those would be my best guesses.
Yeah, because let's see. Tomorrow's the 27th. If they wait till Tuesday, that's September 1st. And I feel like they like to start the month with something new. I think this August update was actually at the end of July that it
was.
started.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they're going to continue the month-to-month thing, I know that fall doesn't start till, into September. So I don't know if they're going to do that. But I think tomorrow or Friday, I'm hoping tomorrow. But and then Churong, thank you very much, by the way. He says, today was Nintendo the Musical. Zach, when I was watching this mini direct, three rhythm games to start off a direct. I've never seen that before.
I thought it was going to be just all music. I was like, oh, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but Ravi Drums was this dude that they brought out for Wii Music, like back in the Wii era, and he was just like air drumming because it's the Wiimote and the nunchuck, and it was like the goofiest meme back then. But yeah, I was like, okay, we got Fuser and Kingdom Hearts and Just Dance and what's the other one that they had? Oh, Taiko no Tatsujin, the drumming game, but
yeah.
It just blows my mind because, like, okay, Animal Crossing, I feel they kind of are in a groove, right? They know where to hit us hard, right? They're like, hey, we got this, and guess what? Leaf is on the little logo for the next update, and Jack is on the logo for the next update. The people that make these partner showcases and the main directs, like, where is their headspace? How do they put this out and be like, do you think they really are sitting there this morning? They wake up, they're eating their freaking, I don't know, Japanese Rice Krispies, and they're like, ooh, man, the fans are going to go wild today. Can't wait to see that trailer for Minecraft Dungeons DLC. Can't wait to see Just Dance 2020. Like, there's no way they think this is like big moves. There's no way.
I still go back to what you said about like maybe this is they have to put this stuff out.
Yeah.
Like licenses were made or exclusivity, but it's just it comes off really weak, and I feel like the Nintendo Direct name has taken a giant hit. Like it's no longer.
That's what I say of like. That used to be something, and maybe that's silly, but like as a super fan, like that was a day people took off work for that stuff.
Yeah,
and now a direct is there's mini directs, partner directs, indie directs, main. I mean, there aren't main directs; those don't happen anymore. It's been a full year, so that's forget that. But yeah, it's wild.
I don't know. I want to like. Here's the thing. I feel like companies, and don't get me wrong, there's been a lot of companies that have been affected by the pandemic and things like that. But I feel like as a giant company, it's sort of become a crutch where it's like, as soon as we mention pandemic, I feel like people just back off a little bit. But it can't be affecting this much. Is it affecting this much? I mean,
it absolutely is having an effect, and I'm sympathetic to that because at the end of the day, we'd rather them work from home and stay safe than force something.
Exactly. But games don't take this long. They don't take this like least amount of time. Like,
Nintendo absolutely had plans for this year that have been, in the works for years. So there has to be some games that they were close on, right? It's not like, well, they just started development during COVID and that was really tricky. Like their E3 lineup had to be pretty much decided long ago. So I don't know what's happening with that, where any of it is. I read a really interesting Twitter thread where they were saying that Pikmin 3 was supposed to be a like June, July summer game, and they ended up saving it as like a safety valve of like, in case we can't get anything done, we're going to put it out in the fall. But what's hard for me to understand is so many of the games that we're excited for, like, and have been rumored, Mario Collection, that's old games coming back. Zelda, maybe Skyward Sword, old games coming back.
Yeah,
Pikmin 3.
Exactly.
So come on, like, I know it's not as easy as just like press the button launch, but it's hard. You don't want to be, non-sympathetic to this, but it's like, okay, like other people are putting stuff out. Like, do you really have nothing? The saddest thing to me today wasn't even in the partner showcase, which was very sad, but Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, which I don't know if you're a Lego person. To me, I feel like there'd be some crossover between AC and Lego. That got delayed to 2021. Cool.
Oh, wow.
Which is a bummer because that game looked amazing at E3 last year, 18 months ago. And or whatever it was, I guess 15 months ago, and it's still not ready.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, like a lot of these games, they could have put something together because they're using old assets and kind of like remastering a lot of things. But the thing that has kept coming through this pandemic is Animal Crossing. And I mean, I'm saying tomorrow pretty confidently. I don't know what's going on anymore. You cannot predict.
Are you an insider? People are loving your hat. Is this your special knowledge hat, your insider hat?
I think so. It's my secret identity. You just don't know me yet. But tomorrow, I think, or sometime soon, I mean, realistically, I think that we are going to get the next trailer And I've been saying this all the way through is like at the end of the last trailer, it said, coming next fall, and they showed a picture of Jack. So I
Right.
think that to me, because they usually like drop the date, they usually drop the month, like coming June, coming
Right.
July. So to me, this says, okay, this has to be September, October, because I would be very surprised if September is empty, right? Would you?
I would think so because they've stuck to this kind of like every month something decently substantial happens. So we hope that stays the same unless they called it fall so that they have leeway and can put it out in September, October, November, whenever they want to drop it. I think I like what you said the other day, that it's a 2-wave update again, that they do double waves and the first one, I would think the first one, if we're going to get into these predictions, I would think the first one would be focused on the gameplay additions, and then the second would have Jack and Halloween, as that would be closer to October 31st.
Yeah, I mean, they would obviously release what both of the parts are, similar to what happened with Leaf when they announced Leaf and then the wedding thing and then the museum day.
Right.
It didn't happen right away. I think that, I mean, if you see the thumbnail of this video, it's Katrina. I personally think it's Katrina. There's a lot of things pointing towards it. We've heard Brewster be mentioned before, your hot cocoa guy.
Don't tease me, man.
I mean, Jack is the only thing that's confirmed. So we got to put our tinfoil hats on. I didn't bring one today, but we got to kind of speculate. Like, what do you expect is going to happen? I mean, I think October, we'll get into in a little bit. I think that's kind of obvious, but September is the thing that's kind of throwing me for a loop here. What do you think's going to?
Well, I will say, very weird experience. I never dyed my hair until a couple weeks ago, and they did put like the foils in my hair. I felt so bougie with those foils. But I want to say Brewster just because that's what I'm all about. That's what I want most in the game. But based on, I get real detailed. I track those data mines, and they've been super accurate thus far with Diving, Pascal, Red, Leaf, Dream Suites, Luna. The next thing on that agenda is farming, and the idea that there would be farming, cooking, Brewster, Jack, Katrina, like all at once seems bonkers. So
Yeah.
it probably is a farming Katrina combo. I mean, because in case you don't know, Pat's referencing the luck element that has been brought into the game, where you trip and fall with a balloon, or you trip and fall with the specifically the mask, the Sphinx mask. And that relates to Katrina, as she helps determine your good luck or your bad luck, which affects a lot of sort of the more random elements in the game. I think she'd be fun. Do you see her docking like Red? Or does she show up in the plaza?
I mean, normally she shows up in the plaza in like a spooky little tent. Now, I believe, was it in New Leaf, if you saw her like 20 times, she would come permanently. I mean, no NPC has come like full on your island. Like there's people that say like Nook's Cranny, could be upgraded,
Right.
which I think would be a good point. I think one of these NPCs need to like come on the island full time, because then we're like constantly waiting on like Kix, for example. When is Kix going to come? Now he has to compete against Gullivar, which why did they do that? Why did they do that? It's so weird. And then, now if they add Katrina in, my only thing about farming is like it's going to be fall. Does that make sense? Like normally aren't you harvesting at this time? And then winter comes.
I think it's a pretty expedited process, probably in AC. I don't think it's like plant the seeds and sit there for 6 months. I'm hoping it's like plant the seed and the next day it shows up, right? So then you'd be harvesting maybe 24 hours later. But
you could have seasonal crops too.
Exactly. I mean, my only concern with farming is where the cooking element comes in, because if farming is literally just Leaf Part 2, I mean, thank goodness Leaf gets something else, because right now I feel like he's possibly the saddest NPC. Like,
actually coming up, like nothing grows, man. I mean, the holly bushes, don't count out the holly bushes, but
it would be great if he got some extra usage. I just hope that the cooking side of things comes in, and I as much as it would be an overload, I do wonder if at some level maybe the roost is upgraded, and maybe the cooking somehow factors into the roost, as it's now like a cafe restaurant. If there's some connection there. But I would love to see what eating does for you. Besides, we know with fruit it powers up your your
Yep.
axe or your shovel, but what does eating a corn on the cob, what does that do for you? How does that affect
Yeah.
the game besides look really, really adorable?
Hopefully it means your tools don't break. No, that'll never happen. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like something like farming, I think would overshadow everything else. It's a brand new gameplay element. I'm assuming you would have to have like a special dirt or something. I don't know. Do
Do you
they
think they
add
go that
special?
far? Do you think it's more than just like planting a tree and stuff pops on it?
I think like either like leaf or I don't know.
Because
Maybe
when I
maybe
think
instead of turnips, you can buy some seeds
when I think
once every
farming,
Sunday.
I think like seeds, and then you have to like rake it, and then you got to water it. But that seems really intense.
I think it's gonna probably be the same growth cycle as the trees.
Okay.
It's gonna be like 3 days. It's not gonna be too like demanding. I don't know. It just seems like a big gameplay element to just kind of throw in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would kind of change up Animal Crossing a lot to the point where I would prefer it in spring. I've already said this. Imagine like you have all your major holidays out of the way, and then people are like, "Oh wow, we have Bunny Day to look forward to, and like the Cherry Blossom event." And then you throw something new like the like a harvesting farming update. That completely changes year two, and that kind of gives life into this game for at least like a few months. That's my like preferred way. I don't know.
I guess with like the recent burnout though, it'd be nice to have something that is an addition to the daily routine. You talk about that a lot of like having something that is added on to your checklist as opposed to right now we're just kind of, hopping and skipping from holiday and event to event. It feels like the game does need a gameplay addition right now.
Yeah.
But that could be Brewster as well. I mean, it could be Katrina. Whether you're going to
Yeah.
bring an emphasis on luck, an emphasis on farming, an emphasis on working at the cafe. I would love to see the secret beach get more usage. It to me, and maybe I'm on an island here. To me, it seems like
We all are.
we all are. To me, it seems like Red showing up so infrequently begs for someone else to dock there. Like the plaza has continued to get more guests that take up space and take up time, but the secret beach is so empty most of the time. To me, Katrina pulling up in some, crazy little boat thing of mystery and intrigue would be really fun. Or hey, Brewster gets a, a boat cafe.
I want Brewster. Like, I think I'm on an island with this. If we're talking about islands. I think I would want him in his own coffee shop. But then, people are. I think the data mine was like he's in the museum. There's an expanded museum. Leave the museum alone. It's grown enough. We need another shop. My town's looking empty. It would look pretty spicy.
I don't think they ever add. I think I said this last time I was on at the podcast. I don't think they ever add another building.
Yeah. Why do you think that though?
I think it's too crowded already.
Yeah.
But the second half of this is like, do they bring in some of the things that we've been clamoring for? Whether it's from the poll, those quality of life, whether it's Nintendo themed gear, like can we have it now? Has the Switch sold enough units to let them know like, hey, you can start including some characters? Like Mario 35th is happening next month. Come on.
35th, 35 is apparently a big number. I don't know. There's obviously enough copies out there for them to like do any kind of update. I think they're just kind of worried about people falling off at this point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I had to guess, I would say either Katrina or Brewster. I'm rooting for Brewster because if you haven't played before, you can actually work at the coffee shop, make your villagers orders, and it's adorable. It is absolutely adorable. And there's items that go with it too. So you get new items.
Right.
You get a new, essentially a mini game. You get a new NPC. Katrina is basically all luck based, and it's honestly kind of annoying. I remember myself not visiting her because I always got bad luck, and it'd be like, okay, put this shirt on, and then you'll reverse your fate or whatever, and then it's just like it's done. It just seems like it's an Animal Crossing cute thing, and I want Brewster more.
Basically, Katrina is Pascal 2.0. Really fun for the first day.
Yeah.
Frustrating every other day afterwards.
Yeah.
Is there a chance? Is there a chance that they somehow bring a new NPC. This is something I've wondered a lot. Like, is there an opportunity for someone brand new? You know, Flick is brand new, obviously. Is there an opportunity for, wow, this isn't Brewster. Wow, this isn't Katrina. It's they fulfill the same role, but it's like the grandson or the sister or the
too. I mean, they started off so strong with adding like Flick and CJ and things. And I mean, I like them quite a bit. I'm not going to compare it to their, counterparts, but I like them quite a bit. And it seems like this game, it doesn't really, I mean, besides gameplay elements, character-wise, it really doesn't have its own identity in my eyes anyway.
Like who's the face of New Horizons, basically?
Exactly. Like, I mean, Isabel was big in the other games. Now she's pretty pointless. Tom Nook started out really cool. Now he's just he's working way too many hours, Zach. I don't know. His check, though. His check must look pretty good.
He never leaves. He never goes home. It's a workaholic.
Like the dodos, like the new.
I'd say they are probably the face. Like if you had to pick.
So. Yeah, I think so. Because it's all about exploration and going to new places and stuff. But yeah, I think that a new NPC, if they do add one, I think unfortunately they're going to have similar roles as some of the other ones. Like if they do. Bring in a fortune teller, they're going to play out similar to Katrina.
Yeah.
But I want something new. I do agree with you because like we have these experts that played the old games and, they talk about the old games. I want something new, a curveball that we can't like predict what's going to happen. Like imagine if they showed this brand new NPC with nothing.
You're like, who is that? What the heck is this snake guy doing? We don't even know. That'd be so exciting.
People would be going nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the unknown, like if we want to talk really about the trailer itself, like the unknown to me is the most exciting part. Like when they're like, maybe Rover's coming back for Mayday. And you're like, what is he going to do? How's he going to show up? What is he going to be? And then I do want to call back to Rover did make some weird comment about him like maybe coming to your island one day. So I do wonder if at some future point in these updates, we do get a Rover part 2. But yeah, I think for me, the biggest hype comes from what they don't say. Like in Summer Wave 1, when they're like showing the firework logo and like teasing what's happening. Like to me, that's where I get most hyped. I don't know where you guys get the most excited, but for me, it's like, what could be? What could be next?
Yeah, he's just chilling in the background. Also, I haven't really heard anyone talk about this, but Digby, Lottie, they're not in this game.
Stop. Lottie is the ugliest character in Animal Crossing. I don't know what is happening with her face.
Well, Truffles enters the chat, but like they are like there is an emphasis on decorating your house and getting a score,
right?
But we don't have any like design places to go. Could that be an update? There's a lot of NPCs, guys, and I just put Katrina out there because she's kind of spooky, eerie. I could see her coming in. But man, Digby, make Isabel a little bit interesting. I don't know. Gracie, yeah. Like there's a lot of NPCs that we haven't seen yet, which means like they want to support this game for 2 years. They could definitely do it. So
hopefully we find out soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not NookTalk 18 before we're actually talking about what's
Welcome to episode 46.
Here we are talking about Brewster. Dude. I feel like am I crazy? Is Brewster not as beloved as I think he is?
No, I think he is. The amount of people that have like fake Brewsters on their island.
Yeah, like so that I feel like Nintendo has to give him. I mean, he has to be soon. Maybe he has this update. Maybe it's finally time. Maybe they go all out. Maybe they say, "Welcome to the fall, the holiday season." Your guy, though, what are you expecting for Jack? Is he going to be here in a big way? Is he going to?
I think so. I mean, I'm just scared if like Nintendo already like predetermined what their events were going to be like. I don't want another, copy paste of Bunny Day, even though we both talked privately and we both loved Bunny Day. We just think it was a little bit too extreme, and especially coming out so early to launch, like. Yeah, it was bad to introduce players to a new game and then their game be broken, essentially. So
2 weeks later, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of with Jack. But I think that, based on past games, it's always been about like scaring villagers, collecting an item, and then it's been pretty subtle. Now, I do think that crafting is going to come back. Jack had his own furniture set, which could be the crafting set. There was also a creepy set, which I personally think would be more of the DIY because it looks like normal objects.
Okay.
You know, like more of a cartoony gravestone, a grandfather clock with teeth on it, like kind of zany things like that. I think that we could make ourselves. So that's 2 furniture sets. You have the masks in the game, which we already have the mummy one. I love Halloween, by the way. I'm trying to convert Zach into little spooky boy, but we have the mummy mask. We have the skeleton mask. There's actually 4 more that were in New Leaf, like the Frankenstein, the werewolf. So, those could come back. I could see more costumes coming back. And, I made a prediction video before, and I just think that maybe that alludes to like an Able Sisters update where there is a shopping cart.
I would love that. Like a major clothing addition, like, hey, get ready for the fall season, colder weather, here's what we got. And it does adjust. They do have obviously items for that, but yeah, more customization would be great. I've seen a lot of talk about like new hairstyles, jewelry, things of that sort. I'd love more of that. To me, that would be almost more exciting than like Katrina, just because it would.
I mean, this is going to be a big test for them to see if they can kind of bounce back, because this is the first major holiday, and I would say that all the updates leading up to this, they've nailed all of them except Museum Day.
Well, and if we look at it, October 31st is 7 months after the game launched. So you have to imagine like Bunny Day was set way in advance. But in theory, they could have made adjustments along the way. Like I don't know that they necessarily had Jack's plans set pre-launch. Like I'm sure they've continued to work on it. So hopefully they can kind of bring in some of the player feedback. Any chance we go trick-or-treating or get to go to like other islands and trick-or-treat or anything of that sort?
That's interesting too. Now, here's an amazing comment that I remember. I can't remember who wrote it on one of my videos, but they basically said, imagine if they do sort of a rover type island where for a limited time you go to a mystery island and it's like a haunted maze or something. And then that's how you get like a Jack item or something like that. And you can do that every day for 2 weeks or something. That would be amazing. The rover maze just gave me so much hope.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to see some interactivity also with like the villagers' houses. Maybe that's asking too much, but I think that would be just some sort of trick-or-treating, or where people could come to your island to trick-or-treat. That would be really fun. But yeah. I love the idea that, it's no Crunchy Island maze, but the rover maze was really cool and really fun to see Nintendo put something.
It was cool.
Like a puzzle in there. I thought that was really neat. So.
Or, maybe if, people had exclusive candies at their island, so it kind of forced you to go to other people's.
Yeah, like the fruits. Like your island has this, even if it was just different color, Jawbreakers or Gumballs or whatever it is. And I also cannot wait, and I hope they, in the same way that, like there's Festival Red and Festival Isabelle, I hope that we do get like Halloween Isabelle. Maybe Tom Nook is going to come outside to scare people for Halloween. Maybe he's going to finally stretch those freaking atrophied legs.
But I am so excited. I have my expectations are way up there. And honestly, they should. Like, Nintendo goes hard for Halloween and they go hard for Christmas. They even kind of do a little bit for Thanksgiving too. So my expectations are pretty high, and I just kind of want more items. Like, Pascal was great. It was cool to dive and stuff like that. But I mean, really, we got a completely inside furniture set, which there's only so much you can do with mermaid stuff. I've seen mermaid coves. I've seen it, but it is like a dresser. I want like weird outdoor items, like the pirate stuff. The pirate stuff was great.
Pirate stuff is neat, and you have all the mush sets coming up, which is already fantastic. So it hopefully will be a good time for people to kind of redecorate a little bit. I do want to point out that Bunny Day, like the reason I think we say we like Bunny Day is not because we loved like using all of our tools to get eggs everywhere, but because if Nintendo is going to go either overboard or not enough, we'd rather them go overboard, right? Like at the end of the day, I'd rather Jack and the fall update be too much than too little. Like Museum Day, remember that one? That was really fun. That was cool.
That was the worst thing ever.
I can you imagine being like the designer's like, okay, you're in charge of Museum Day. It's like probably like a junior designer. It's a small holiday. Like, I got this great idea of stamps, and then somewhere along the way it just gets so boring and repetitive, and like, like you're ashamed, like, oh god, I was so excited to like tell everybody that was my holiday, but instead like that's the guy that made me
Yeah,
say
I'm a holiday designer for Animal Crossing. I don't want to talk about which one,
yeah.
but
Just you know the holidays.
and then you got plaques for it. I'm done. I'm gonna scream if I talk about Museum Day.
Too much.
So hopefully this podcast is completely pointless come tomorrow because I think that we're gonna get it soon, and I'm excited for September. Obviously, October I'm excited for, but like we said before, the unknown has me pretty excited.
Pretty
So
spooked.
yes, Zach, you know what? You know what I like the most being excited for is new things.
Oh,
And
baby.
we have a brand new segment.
Ooh.
We have a brand new segment, and honestly, I think we're gonna kind of rotate this between 3 new segments. So you know what? It kind of excites you to watch.
We're not here for a week of Museum Day. We got a different holiday every episode.
Yes, exactly. So we have a one of our new segments here is called This or That, and I'm pretty excited because basically this is how it works. You guys are going to get involved too. So Zach and I both have 2 scenarios that we're going to pitch to one another. And you don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what you're saying. And you're going to say
It's a this or that.
This or that.
Yeah.
Would you rather take this or that? So do you want to go first?
I want to hear yours first. I'm excited to hear yours. I threw you a bunch of ideas before we started, so I'm curious to see what you got.
Okay. So guys, I'm going to read the first one and then I'm going to read the second one and you put either 1 or 2. So here's the first thing, this or that.
Okay.
So the first thing is shiny villagers. We've talked about this before.
Oh my god,
Now,
I don't even need to hear the other thing. How could you possibly come up with something greater than that?
It's pretty good too. So basically, if you haven't heard of this, shiny villagers. So when you go villager hunting, it's a brand new aspect of it. So like in Pokemon, you can get shiny or rare versions of Pokemon. So imagine going to a island and finding a gold-colored Raymond. You know, it would be just the crown jewel to some people.
And you just made $1,000 on eBay.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, and I want to just say, I wanted to extend this. If Nintendo came out with Animal Crossing, New Horizons cards, there could also be shiny cards. Guys, I'm just printing you money at this point. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing is 10 new villagers. And these come in 2 brand new species.
Ooh, Pat. Oh, man.
So, would you rather spice up the villager hunts or get 2 brand new species with 5 villagers in each species, bringing it up to 10 new villagers? Guys, this or that, 1 or 2, what would you rather have? Zach, take me through it. Take me through it.
Shiny villagers is so exciting because it's that coveted, it's that rarity. It's going for the holy grail. It's getting something that nobody else has. But if you're gonna set that up against new species, which could be reptiles, or it could be bats, or it could be one of the coveted,
could be sharks, could be giraffes.
Sharks. Oh my god! Look, I can mystery hunt for shinies, or I can mystery hunt for the 10 new villagers. So I gotta go with that. I gotta go with 2. I think that is supremely great. And at the end of the day, look, shinies aren't gonna be for everybody, but everybody is gonna go crazy for 2 new species in this game. And frankly, I'm so sick of seeing the hippos, the lions, the alligators, the apes, the monkeys, the kangaroos. I'm
like,
ready.
Here's my thing. Even if I saw a glowing truffles with sparkles coming off and sprinkles, I would still run as fast as I can. I don't think shiny villagers. I mean, here's the thing though. It could make certain villagers look a bit more appealing. Like there's a lot of like villagers. They're just kind of, they look cool, but not like that cool. Imagine like a purple camo frog. I don't know. It could be cool. I think the longevity of it. I'm gonna go like, what did you say? You said shiny?
No, I said the.
Oh, you said the new species.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go new species too. I mean, it's a grab bag though. You don't know, but there has to be at least one cute one.
All right, I'm gonna throw you a tricky one that's personalized just for you. I know you got love for this Jack guy. I don't know how I feel about him yet. I gotta spend some quality time with him. But my this or that makes his existence even questionable. And this is Jack is on the island every day of October. every day of October, okay? He's got a bunch to do. He's there for the long haul. You get to see his beautiful, spooky pumpkin face every day in October. But the rest of the update is reduced. And by reduced, I mean we don't get another NPC. There's no Brewster, there's no Katrina. There's farming, there's cooking, and there's some new items, but it's a Jack show. Or that's one. Two, and I'm not going to go too crazy because I really want to make you think about this. But two is we do get Brewster, and we get craftable costumes that you can craft and wear on your villager. But Tom Nook dresses up as Jack. He's not really on the island. It's just Nook in a Jack outfit. He doesn't show up at all. That's two. So you got lots of Jack, not much else, or you got no Jack, but you get these craftable costumes and Brewster, which is phenomenal.
Oh man. Wait, what does Jack do? I see Jack every day.
Yeah, Jack's big news. He's got DIYs. He's got items. Ooh. He's really, he's got jokes. He's really ready to go.
Oh man, the Halloween puns. That's.
He might even have some dual conversations. Bring Wisp into the plaza for a little bit.
Zach,
he's a big deal, man.
You're killing him. I'm gonna go. So is Brewster gone forever? I can never get Brewster?
We don't know. We don't know.
Okay. Craftable costumes or Jack every day with Wisp hanging out. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Jack every single day of the week.
You're killing the chat here. Everybody wants those craftable costumes.
I don't care what these hooligans want. I want Jack. I want Wisp. I want a little party, and that's what I'm doing.
All right.
That's a good one, though. You know what else is a good one?
I'm ready for
this next one.
Let's go.
Which I think is going to be very divided.
Good.
So, and this takes place at the new year.
Okay.
So starting January 1st.
Thank goodness the year's over. I'm so glad. It's been rough.
We are finally done. So the first thing is you get a giant DLC. I'm talking tons of DIYs, tons of items.
It's like Animal Crossing 2.0.
Exactly. Okay. New house upgrades, all the NPCs you could ever want, everything that is left to be added in the game, you get right then and there for a $30 price tag. However, the terraforming is fixed, Dodo is fixed, everything is fixed. It's a $30 price tag, but there's no updates after that. It's done. That's your Animal Crossing. It's the perfect Animal Crossing, but you get it all at once. Mm-hmm. Or the second thing is business continues like usual. You get the monthly updates. You don't know what they are, but you are guaranteed every single month to get something completely free. But you don't know the quality of them. It could be like a museum day quality, but the $30 update is everything that you've ever dreamed.
This is like a Tales of Time question of like, you can have 10 marshmallows right now, little son, or you can have one marshmallow for every day for the rest of the year.
And I just want to say something. A lot of people are like, $30? Guys, I've played 600 plus hours of this game. I will give another $60. But anyway, go ahead.
So we're really talking about all up front or slowly doled out, and we're basically paying a fee to have it all at once.
All at once, but you know it's going to be good. It's going to be juicy. We're going to get a lot of stuff.
Man, I think the content creator in me wants it to be slowly doled out, so it's not just like a one and done explosion. But I think at the end of the day, we got to think of the people here, Pat, and we got to say if we can get it all eventually for free versus $30, I think I'm leaning with 2 because it keeps me playing longer probably, and I don't have to pay any of my pretty bells that I already lost so many of to dangerous.
You're getting the updates.
I'm getting the updates. And I want the trailers. I want the updates. I don't want to just explode it all at once.
Dude, just imagine like a 12-minute long Animal Crossing Direct. They're nailing everything, and they just go $30 available right now. Oh my God. I would say, yeah, I'm with you. I like the monthly updates, not just, being a creator, but it's exciting because we're even doing this show trying to guess what's going to happen.
Right.
And like I said before, I trust in this team. They're doing a great job. So bring on the updates. Now, is paid DLC out of the question? I don't think so, but I would choose the monthly updates.
If they do pay DLC, where do you see it like appropriately? It would have to be like special items, right? Or special
It
like
would have to
cosmetics.
be non-tradable items, like certain things you can't bring to people's islands or something like that. Yeah, it would have to be cosmetic. We've talked about like Nintendo made paths before. It would have to be something that only you could use. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
All right, my final this or that to close out this segment. And I love this one too much not to use it. So Pat, forgive me for using one that I threw your way when we pitched this idea, but you have a choice. All of you have your dreamy out there, your favorite villager, the one that you have been hunting for or hunted for, and you just love so much. It is your buddy, it is your friend, it is your spirit animal. And for Pat, that is Eric. I don't know why, but it is. So, Pat, you have a really tough choice today.
Oh, no.
This, number one, you can have an entire island of Eric, 10 Erics. Your favorite villager, all 10 villagers are your favorite
Erics.
villagers. So if your
That would
favorite
be the
is,
laziest island I've ever seen.
if your favorite is Judy, you got 10 Judys. If your favorite is Molly, you got 10 Mollys. Or you will never have Eric on your island, but you'll have 10 different villagers. Number two.
Wow. You know what? I say wholesome questions, and Zach says, do you want your son or not? Okay. 10 Erics, I feel like would get, I mean, Fear the Deer.
Your island would be so powerful.
It would be very
be
powerful.
a stronghold of your most perfect villager.
I'm just thinking of Stitches. I'm thinking of Kiki. I think I would do. I hate you.
I mean, in chat, people are like, this is my favorite. No way I'd want 10. No way I'd want 10.
I could literally be Santa, though. I could have Donner and Blitzen
Here,
and Comet.
We'll sweeten the deal for you. The 10 Erics are all different colored.
So I get shinies. I would say two. I would say two. I think that you need some type of diversity. The lazy villagers, I've had like 6 on my island at one point. So I need the diversity. I need like grumpy people. I need, snooty. So I think 2.
You need Snooty?
I need snooties. No, God.
I was
no,
like, what are you talking about, Pat? Do I even know you anymore? What's going on?
I mean,
here?
if it's Christmas time, I probably would say 1. if it's any other time, I'd probably say 2.
Gotcha.
Okay, now Zach. Okay, we got Cranston's now.
I do
got
love
10 little birds.
Supposedly, I cheated on Cranston by hunting for Flora the other day. Apparently, that was a huge federal offense.
For Flora.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going for the. I decided that my favorite species is ostrich, tall and thin like me, and I think that species has like the coolest variety. Like in terms of amongst the individual villagers, they're very different. But yeah, I don't know. There's something deviously beautiful about this glitched island where you have 10 of the exact same villager. There's something just, I don't know. I'd love to make the video where I'm like, and who's inside door number 3? Cranston again. Like that's a fun moment. But at the end of the day, variety is the spice of life, and the villager hunts and especially if I couple this with yours where I get the new species, I can't not have the new species. So, I guess it was good that I was hunting for Flora, because we'll say goodbye to Cranston and take number 2.
I know that this wasn't planned at all, but give me a percentage on if we will get new villagers.
Any new villagers?
Any single new villager, whether it's like a returning villager, a themed Nintendo one. Is this it?
15%.
Wow, you're not too confident. Okay.
I think they packed it, and I don't. I think that's would be amazing, but
it would be weird to just be like, new villagers are on the way. Like, how would they even integrate that? Really, like, maybe Tom Nook would be like, I heard our clientele is. I don't know.
They've kind of thrown lore out the window after you get KK, so they don't really need to explain it. But I just think it's like, you kind of know that like the coolest things Nintendo won't do. Like, I know that's kind of terrible to say, but the dreamiest stuff,
yeah,
probably not. What about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna yeah. Now that you say that, I think like around 10 to 15%. I'm kind of on the lower scale though. I mean, I don't know how
Gosh.
they Rover's never been a villager, but like they introduced someone like that.
Hmm.
Which, by the way, why did that story end? He just gave you his briefcase.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
kind of
He's got
like
to
a
be back.
morbid ending.
He's got to be back at some
Yeah.
point. Next Mayday with a new puzzle.
Okay. So that is the first half of the show, guys. If you haven't watched this show before, we do a special second half where you guys run the show. You ask us questions. There is a spot in the NintenTalk Discord, which should be in the description if you want to submit your questions, or my dude Zach will be watching the chat if anything
Yes,
catches
yes,
his eye.
yes. Catch my eye, please.
Let's start with this. Hannah9710. They say my two favorite YouTubers ever as a team. Thank you for that.
Wow.
What is your favorite and least favorite part about Animal Crossing?
My least favorite part is definitely all of the dialogue. All of the slow, cumbersome, annoying dialogue.
I mean, there's like a charm to it, but I
There's a charm to it for the first 2 weeks.
yeah, that's true. And then it's like Orville, you know why I'm here. Like I have a pocket full of tickets. Yeah.
Goodness, yeah.
And your favorite part?
Probably the villager hunts, honestly. That's where I've derived like my favorite moments, like the biggest like disappointments, the biggest hype. I mean,
Yeah.
it'll change once Brewster arrives. Then that's gonna be my favorite part. I'm gonna spend 90% of my AC days just hanging out in the roost. But yeah, if you want to get like really, really, really specific, I would honestly say Dodo Airlines. I think that is like, yes, crafting is more affecting, and yes, some of the new additions like terraforming are remarkable. But Dodo Airlines, now that we had that earlier discussion, like it is kind of the face of the game, and it is kind of
Yeah.
like the flying, the plane. I don't know. There's so much.
Yeah.
I think speaking of charm to that whole operation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, my favorite part is constantly redesigning, coming up with ideas in terms of design. Like, who the heck would fill their island with a bunch of flowers? I don't know. I've never met that guy before, but yeah, I think design obviously is my favorite.
Right.
Least favorite, I would agree, man. The Dodo Airlines, especially if you're doing any kind of hunt, is just such a slog, man. They need to just and it wouldn't even be advertised in a trailer either. That's something we have to figure out ourselves. It would just be like, would you like to go to the next island? And I literally will scream, and it'll be great. Okay, next question. This is a good one here. Becca, she says, we talk a lot about quality of life updates we want, but what is an unpopular opinion you have about a mechanic you wouldn't want to see changed?
Wow,
Not
that's a
wanting
good question.
like not wanting batch crafting or a cart enables. Which one do you disagree with that people want?
The hard part is like, why do I want to hurt my quality of life? I'm trying to think of where do I enjoy the pain? Where do I just love to just take it? I'm running through those like those trailers from his name is Nick Ha. He made the two like fan quality of life trailers
Oh,
and all
yeah.
like the updates. I'm trying to think of what of that I would not want.
It's tough because I feel like a lot of the problems. Here's the thing: a lot of the quality of life, things that people like submit, I feel like are kind of trying to speed up the game. And I've always thought that the beauty of Animal Crossing is just the pacing of it and really letting things play out the way that they're supposed to. So I feel like that might be mine. It's a general like wanting to speed up the process.
Yeah.
I personally don't have a problem with crafting. I feel like things could definitely be a lot faster. Like batch crafting I could see, but I like the pace of the game. I just don't like dumb game design elements like the Dodo Airlines. Like obviously people want to, if I have maybe if you just had one ticket or two tickets,
You don't want to
could
speed
just-
up the game. You just want to speed up your enjoyment of the game.
Yes.
What
about you?
I think just because I don't care about it, like, yes, I think having like meters and marks for how durability, like that just wouldn't affect me. I don't ever chop enough to break them. I don't ever shoot down enough to waste
Okay.
it. So I would just, I guess, let
So
that
you don't
slide.
care if we ever get a meter
No,
to like show.
I'd personally be okay with that.
Okay. Here we go. MJLS says to both of you, what is one other game that you would spend as much time on as Animal Crossing?
I'm super interested to hear what you have to say.
Okay. So I have a guilty pleasure of sports games. I mean, I obviously wouldn't make content for it, but I'm a
Right.
giant Madden fan, and I'm like the simulation type guy. Like I play out seasons.
Wow.
Like I've had a season like in 2026 with like no name rookies and stuff. It's just fun to me. But I will say something similar to Animal Crossing. Stardew is a game that I just can't put down in like less than 4 hours.
Wow.
It is such a good, like addictive game. I wouldn't even say it's similar to Animal Crossing, but it's just like a simulation. So that would probably be mine.
For me, the true story is Evolve, which I don't know how many people even watching know of, but Evolve came out in 2015, a phenomenal game where you got to be a monster. I thought that was the most genius idea, being like the boss. You're always like the dopey little hero, the cool princess, the plumber, the villager. But here you were the boss, and you got to control these grotesque big monsters and have this 4v1 combat. It fell off horribly, but yeah, I've put hundreds and hundreds of hours, and I still, for better or worse, make videos on that game. So yeah, it's Evolve all the way.
You're like the king of Evolve.
I always joke and say like, man, Ghost Robo is a struggling channel, but just wait, if Evolve 2 ever comes out, like I'm doing good. I'm gonna cash in.
Here's another question by Bewick Official. How would you feel about them removing duplicates on villager hunting?
Heck yeah. Yesterday, I ran into 3 sets of duplicates, like almost back to back to back. It was mortifying.
Yeah, I've seen that before. I mean, yes, I think that we should go through, what is there, like 400 villagers? We should go through every single one. And I think that would do a few things. Like it would shorten down the hunt times. I mean, although if you get your villager on like the 300, 50th ticket, but
Right.
like, I think the economy would kind of balance itself out. I'm for it. Again, if this never happens, I won't be sad, but it makes sense kind of because you're, visiting different islands, especially if they do that Dodo update. Like, why would, Chief be at 2 islands in a row?
I'm gonna pull this from chat.
Okay.
I cannot read their name. I don't believe it's in English. But the question is, what are your thoughts on promotional items like these 7-Eleven items from the older games? And I'm gonna add on to that and just say, what promotional items would you want in the game? And I think this is interesting because we've started to see companies kind of do that on their own unofficially. And I wonder if Nintendo's like, great, we don't have to do anything, but would you want brands to have official merch in the game?
Okay, yes, but on one condition. I want McDonald's to enter the Animal Crossing world, but they have to release Happy Meal toys, and they have to be cute and cuddly, and I would like that. Now, I mean, the 7-Eleven thing I remember being very weird, like almost like really out of place. I actually did a stream last night where I visited brand islands. Like I went to like Denny's Island and stuff like that. And
How was that?
like they did a great job. It just seems really out of place. I wouldn't mind it, but I would like something else like coming with it. Like I would like merchandise to come with it. Like if a clothing brand like Nike or something, I would want Animal Crossing, Nike,
Like in real life, you're talking. Like you're gonna be able to buy like a real Nike hoodie with Nike AC Sports Villagers. Okay, that's pretty cool.
What about you?
I mean, I think it's so cool to see the brands get involved, but to me, I'm like so big on official. Like I want it to be from Nintendo. So I personally would love that. It just has to be the right fit. I don't know if you remember when Nintendo did like a Mercedes thing with Mario Kart. And like, yes, it makes sense because it's cars, but like it also doesn't make sense because like
weird.
I don't want to see Inkling driving around in a freaking Mercedes. That's just gross. So like no. But if they could find a way to make it fit organically, I mean, I don't know how I feel about McDonald's, but to me, it would be so cool if there were like talking about Lego Star Wars or like a little Lego Star Wars figure
That'd
that
be
you could
cool.
get in the game, or like I know you've been a very fancy model for Tommy Hilfiger, but
It's true.
if they actually had like, hey, you could actually wear like not designed, search the kiosk, but like actual clothes brands, like I think that would be pretty fun.
Yeah. Let's see. What did Crunchy say? Buffalo Wild Wings furniture. What is happening right now? Okay, this is more of like a info question. Hazel Basil says, "Will Nook Talk be available on Spotify?" So here's the thing, guys. We are relaunching. It's going to be on a different feed, so it's going to be delayed a little bit. But I think when you search it, instead of Nook Talk, it's actually going to be Nook Talk Live now.
Cool.
So I'm gonna get that to you guys. I'll make an announcement on socials. But yeah, that's actually a informative question, so I feel like throw that out. Okay, speaking of which, you know what? They get a second question because this one's good. MJLS again, it says, "What Animal Crossing merch do you both want to see?" Now, here's the
Ooh.
thing. I've been to several stores with Nicole,
Did you wear a
and we
mask?
have. Oh, of course,
Okay, good.
it's the only way. Uh, I did not see an ounce of Animal Crossing merchandise. No clothes, toys, cards, anything like that. It's kind of weird to be the biggest game on the planet and nothing, no merch, no toys, nothing. It's
I
really
feel like
crazy.
that's a Nintendo thing. Like I feel like they are so protective of their IP. You know how like Disney will like kind of license it out to all these brands. So you have Disney board games and you have Disney this and Disney that. I feel like Nintendo is so, excuse me, to the chest with their properties. Like it's so bold of them to like give Lego Mario this summer. It's so bold of them to allow Mario Jenga to be made. Um, I have a lot of AC merch, but none of it's official as far as I'm aware. I think it's all just like Etsy creators or stuff like that.
Oh, I
T
was gonna say, you
Public.
making it in your basement or what?
I mean, hey, speaking of AC merch and Brewster, gotta stay tuned for that.
Ooh, I'm
But
excited.
I would love to see an Animal Crossing board game. I'm a big board game fan, and I think getting like the little characters, nothing like Amiibo Festival. I don't even compare the two, but a board game would be pretty fun, or like a card game, something like that, to kind of
Yeah,
bring the characters to life in that way.
pretty cool. Yeah, I think I would want. Honestly, it's a boring answer, but I want the New Horizon amiibo card
Really,
launch. Like, we have like new villagers now that don't even have amiibos. But I think an Animal Crossing Monopoly would be cool. I'm with you with the board game, man. That'd
might
be
be
cool.
fun. Or I'll just take like some really sweet like official AC like hoodies and t-shirts and stuff. Japan, I don't know if you've browsed this, but the Tokyo Nintendo store, the official Nintendo store in Tokyo, has like the coolest merch, and it fits my style so well. It's all of it's very busy, a lot of design, a lot of crazy stuff going on. And then you go to Nintendo in NYC, and it's like Legend of Zelda, Animal Crossing, Super Mario. It's like the logo or just the name, and I'm like, where
Yeah.
is the cool pattern stuff? So that'd be fun. I'm gonna bring us a question, and I got to get your take on this.
Okay.
This comes from, I believe, Judy. I'm trying to, yes, Judy, who
Okay.
says they want to be able to ride the scooters. And I've seen a lot of people bring up like bikes, roller skates, faster movement around the island. Would you want to go faster than we already go? Is sprinting not enough?
We go pretty fast. Okay, so if you want bikes, prepare for a ton of pop in, some
Collisions?
lag. I think it would. I think it. I don't know if it could run it honestly, and that seems weird for a game not to be able to run like a bike. But um, I don't really think so. It would make your island seem really, really small.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they added that in like a expansion island where there's like a city to it, yeah, sure, I would like that. But no, certain items I would like to kind of interact with, like the pool and stuff. And I think if they added some like cute things like that,
Got a lot of
the
people
arcade.
a lot of people in the chat saying they want AC Build a Bear. Aww.
Oh man, Stitches, that would be perfect. That would be absolutely perfect. This is a good sort of, where is it? Where is it? Oh, it's good at like creator question.
Hmm.
Leisha, who's a mod, shout out to you. With being part of such a large community and with so many great content creators and friends. Do you find it hard to balance your time between creating your content and supporting others in the community? If so, how do you both make it look like this isn't a struggle? Also, hi Zach, I'm really glad I haven't glad I've gotten calling you the Dreamboat to catch up. Leisha's calling you Dreamboat, and you better read that on air. I did.
I thought that was a you thing, Pat. That's actually a NintenTalk community thing.
Zach is the Dreamboat. I will say my favorite comment ever on Twitter when we announced Zach as the co-host, there was a comment that said the hottest podcast got even hotter.
Gosh.
I might tattoo that on my arm. Okay, anyway. What do you think about this question? How do you balance like supporting people, creating your own stuff?
For me, it's very time consuming because I feel like I'm trying to juggle so many things and I never feel like I do enough. I mean, I try to support where I can, and usually it comes honestly in subtle ways, like popping into a stream or liking something on Twitter or, wanting to do a video together. The latter half will answer, which is how do you make it look like not a struggle? And for me, it just comes from like positivity. Like I'm very grateful that I have an opportunity to do this. Like at the end of the day, no matter how stressful it is, or no matter how behind I am, or no matter how many times my computer crashed, like there are definitely those behind the scene moments where I'm like yelling at myself because like I messed up the intro 6 times in a row, or my computer blue screen 30 seconds before this podcast started. And that's frustrating. But at the end of the day, like I get to sit here and hang out with cool people like Pat. I get to talk to awesome people like you guys. It's really hard to complain. Like out of all the things you could be doing, playing Animal Crossing, talking about Animal Crossing, hanging out with cool people, it's hard not to like put that in perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the whole thing about like how do you find time to like support people, I try and pop in as many streams as I can.
You're really good about that. You're a champ at that, for sure.
Yeah, and that's basically me like putting off things, but yeah, I try to support everyone. I have like a really small circle of like creators that I interact with and like talk to and things like that, and I kind of like it that way. I'm not against meeting new people, but I like to keep my circle small.
Me too, man.
Zola, thank you for the 10, by the way.
I always say I have like 3 friends.
Yeah. But that was a great question. I like that.
I like that a lot as well.
Oh, this is a perfect question, and actually perfect for me too, because we just started doing this. But Kirsten says, do you feel like time travel should be punished like in previous games? For example, villagers leaving without asking. Zach is the professional time traveler.
I am.
I'm like the junior time traveler.
What made you break your like vow there?
So I did a design video in fall, and I was like, you know what? I can't envision this without time traveling. So I went to November, and the leaves were all changed, and it looked beautiful. How do you feel about this, though? Should you be punished? Should everyone be punished?
How would you be like? What are they gonna do? Steal one of your villagers? I mean, you get.
So in previous games, if you time traveled like 2 months, a random villager would be gone.
Oh, okay.
And a new one would be in its place.
Stop revealing my inexperience with the history of the franchise. This is the first episode. You got to make me look good. I don't know. I mean, to me, the punishment that exists, which is cockroaches, is kind of cute. And the punishment which exists that your villager's like, I haven't seen you in 3 months. That's fine. Okay, hang out, man. It'll be all right. But so I wouldn't want a punishment. I guess the only punishment to me is like things still get messed up. Like the wrong thing still happens, or like, and maybe that's a fault of my own. Like I'll be like, oh, I time traveled and got rid of this villager, and then I'll forget and time travel again. It's like crap. Someone else filled the slot.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like punishment and Animal Crossing belong in the same sentence, so I'll say no.
Yeah. By the way, Sam just said, I'm down to get punished. I want someone to clip that, screenshot that, and use it in a weird way in a comment. Anyway, I think yes and no. I agree with you. It's such like a slow-paced game, but I think that flowers should at least die. Little things like that.
That would be cool. I feel like when I first started time traveling, I feel like weeds were a big problem, and I don't feel like that happens as much anymore. Maybe it's just like crazy placebo.
You reach a limit. You reach a limit when it's like 150. They don't grow anymore. So
I'm that
yeah.
bad.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there should be some punishment. I don't really agree with the whole like random villager moving in because I don't know.
Crunchy Island says, if you time travel, Red should rob you.
That would kind of be cool. Like your windows are smashed.
Okay, maybe not that far.
I want the mafia coming. Okay. But yeah, I would say overall there needs to be something more. I think the flowers dying would be something not too crazy. Okay. Well, this is a good one. Nikki says, "What are the strengths you see in each other's channels?"
Wow. Let's get deep, Pat. Stare into my eyes.
Zachariah.
What's that thing called? Have you ever done that? It's called like 30 questions to like fall in love or something. It's like if you meet somebody, you should look this up. Well, you don't look this up. Sorry, Pat. Pat is a happily taken, stable man.
Whoa. All right, I'll look this up. You're gonna get me in trouble.
It's just like a really wonderful thing where you like ask these really important questions that maybe you wouldn't. It's not like what's your job. It's like if you were gonna lose a family member, which one would hurt you the most, or like what is your deepest fear that you've never spoken aloud, or things like that. So here we go. What do you value in my channel?
Okay, well, Zach is a veteran. All right, he's been on this platform for a long time. When did you start Ghost Robo?
October 2010.
2010. I was graduating high school 2010. Yeah, so I mean, you bring a lot to the table. You know, like what works, what doesn't work. Your volume of videos that come out, dude, if I put out one video every like 2 days, I'm like, yes. You put out what, 2 a day, 3 a day? I don't even know what you do.
Yeah, we try.
But yeah, I appreciate the hustle, man. And your quality is good. It's not lazy content. So I think that.
I appreciate that. I think one of the coolest things about NintenTalk that you've done is one, you run an upstanding, positive, happy, family-friendly community, which means so much to me because, it's becoming more common now. But back in the day, I was like such a weirdo for like not swearing in videos and for trying to keep things like upbeat. And I love that we can kind of share our communities because we know that they are of the same value. And I know that you're an upstanding dude who's doing things the right way. But I also respect and admire that, like, yes, your channel has grown so much through Animal Crossing, but you were still putting out quality videos and still doing your best to like be the best NintenTalk that you could be, even when maybe the numbers weren't as high. And that's hard. Like that takes a lot to put that time in and that effort in, even if there's not like the growth. And so I'm obviously so glad that it's turned out this way. And you do like, I know you may not be putting out 2 videos a day, but you got the podcast, you got the streams, you're on Twitch. Pat's on Twitch now. He's everywhere. Local celebrity.
Trying to expand. Yeah. And it's so hard because like I came from a kitchen background, which
is so wild to me. I love when I hear this.
The stereotype is true, by the way. The language in kitchens, it's the worst you'll ever hear. So it was really hard to like adjust that. Because you gotta think, like, people are listening. They hear every single word, even though you might not think you're saying something bad. It's like it can definitely appear that way. So yeah, that's good. Now, do I talk like that in norm? No, I'm kidding. No, we stay clean all the time, 100%.
I think that's such a funny question people always ask. It's like, I don't know. I get asked that a lot about other YouTubers. Like, are they like that in real life? Are they that crazy in real life? Are they that nice in real life? And I think we can affirm for each other that Pat and I are basically the same in real life as we are on right now. So that's cool too. I admire that a lot.
Like the camera stops rolling and I'm like, sorry, Zach, get out of here. Get out of here, Zach.
Just criticizing my Aladdin sweatshirt, telling me my hair looks stupid.
I like the hair, man. I like it.
When are we going to get your hair reveal?
Next question is by...
I'm like lost on the lore of why is there a reason why? Do you not like it? Is it just a shtick? Is it a bit?
I like the hat, man.
Okay.
I like the hat.
All right.
Amanda with the 10. So much community and positivity came from both these channels. Thank you for being something I'd be happy if my nephew found. That's another thing. You never know who's watching like your show. And like I get DMs sometimes, like my kids like watching you, and it's like, just gotta watch what I say,
Absolutely.
Okay, let's see.
Jackie says bald Pat.
You'll never know. This could be a hairpiece taped to a hat. You never know. Okay, MZ1403, and then the rest is not in English, so I can't read it.
Okay.
Would you rather have sharks or giraffes as new species?
Do the giraffes walk on 4 legs or 2? Is everybody bipedal?
They would have to.
Yeah, the sharks have legs.
Yeah, they would have to go on 2.
I think I would probably pick giraffes only because I've seen how they handled alligators, which in theory should be so cool, and they look terrible. And I've seen how they handle ostriches, which in theory should be ugly, and they look amazing. So I feel like the designers know how to do long necks.
Okay. You're going giraffe. I'm going to go shark. We need more sea creatures on the island to make
That's a good point.
To make Marino look less weird. I would say sharks, and there could be like hammerhead sharks. There could be like great whites. There could be...
Can you cutify a shark? Is that a thing?
Oh, definitely, for sure.
Well, 100%. Forget that. There's so many ugly villagers. You don't even have to be cute.
Although they cannot do a panda right. So
I think one of my favorite things about like streaming Animal Crossing or doing villager hunts is like when I think a villager is beyond ugly and people are like, that's my favorite, how dare you? And a little part of me does feel so bad because I'm like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I'm crushing someone's dreams. And also, how is this someone's favorite villager? Because it's like you hate truffles and some little kid out there like has a plush truffles and thinks it's like the greatest villager of the whole 400.
Well, you are wrong, kid. You should throw that doll in the trash. I'm sorry. Truffles? Okay, here's my beef with truffles, all right?
Okay.
The face is stupid looking and I hate it. Okay. That's my beef with it.
That's basically my beef with Rocket. Basically a similar line of thinking.
It's like very weird. It's just 2 dots and a dumb little smile and it's bad. And the eyebrows, it's just bad.
I have a question.
Some of them I feel like they made ugly on purpose, but that's just my
good.
What's your question?
Mike, I have a question for you. This comes from Switchforce Zach.
Okay.
What is something that you love to do or love that never really comes across on your streams or your channel?
Ooh, okay. Well, I love sports. I'll never talk about that on YouTube though, unless I make like sports talk, which I think is taken. So yeah, I like sports. I also like weird, like nostalgic things. Like I like VHS.
Oh wow.
We watch VHS and
you're like from
Goosebumps.
The Stranger Things AV Club, basically.
Exactly. I actually have a Stranger Things like Blu-ray, but it looks like it's a VHS.
That's cool.
And then what about you? You said the board game thing.
I do really like board games. I mean, sports is probably my biggest one. I've coached basketball for over a decade. I freak out about the Detroit Lions every single week, which is coming up, man. Football season is a amazingly exciting time for me and also the most sad, stressful time for me. So get ready for that roller coaster of emotions, NookTalk fans. No, my board games, sports be pretty good. I mean, I guess it's I don't talk about it, but I don't really anymore. But I used to obsessively go to Disney, like 100 times in a year. So that was.
I've never been.
Bad.
Never been at all.
Come on, man.
Disney meetup. I'm down.
After the pandemic.
Yes.
Nicole says Pat wishes the channel could be a weird nostalgia channel, and I want to make it happen.
Wait, what could it? Oh, yeah, weird nostalgia channel. It'll happen. I'll be playing like Windows 98. It'll be great. Have you ever seen a YouTuber where they used to do so much like other things, and now since they're so big, they can do literally whatever they want? That's the dream.
It really is. I'm so jealous. Like, I'm not jealous of very much, I don't think, but I'm jealous of the people that can put out literally any piece of content, and people are like, wow, I want to see this. Why aren't we that cool? I
don't know.
I want to see you cooking, and that would be great.
Yeah. I had this great idea. Like, I love Cooking Mama, right? I'm the weird guy that loves Cooking Mama. I was going to recreate Cooking Mama dishes and make it into content. There's a channel that does that. Like, everyone is too creative, man.
You blew the opportunity. You know, what's that girl's name? Ro. She does like the nerdy nummies, like the video game.
Yeah.
You could have done Animal Crossing themed foods and stuff, like dishes like based on villagers, like Raymond's Favorite meal?
It's missed opportunity. Oh, this is a good one. Again, by Bewick officially Bewick. What is something you wish you knew before you started streaming / creating content? It's a good one.
I wish I knew that I would be doing it this long.
Is that depressing?
No, it's not depressing. No, it's like I think I would have just structured it and set it up better early on, as opposed to kind of just like operating off of my, like in the spur of the moment. Like I think, it's kind of inside baseball, but like if I would have had either myself to coach myself or someone to be like, okay, make sure you do this, make sure you take this seriously, make sure you don't worry about this, just to kind of set it up. Since I mean, at this point, it is a career. A decade is a career, and
yeah,
and I think having that foresight would have just, I think I'd still be doing the same thing. It just probably would be set up a little differently.
Yeah,
it's not depressing. It wasn't supposed to be depressing.
I think at the beginning, I was going too general with it, which there's no problem. Like I looked up to channels like Switchforce and people that were, started doing Switch content, and I thought I could like compete with that, which, anyone can really. Mm-hmm. But I feel like as soon as I kind of started narrowing in on things, that's when the growth happened. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Animal Crossing is a whole nother thing.
Right.
But also the other thing is I thought I would be able to, getting big and stuff, being able to upload once every 2 weeks. And that's not modern YouTube anymore. You have to do it. I would say like at least to grow really like at least 3 times a week. Is that accurate?
Yeah. I mean, because I think back to when I started watching YouTube, and there were so many more. The one that comes to mind instantly is like Zoella, who was like a beauty vlogger, YouTuber. And she would post once a week. And I remember thinking like, what do they do the rest of the week? Like made their video, and obviously like certain videos take more time than others and more effort and production. But yeah, it really does feel like if you're not in front of, I mean, especially with how troublesome YouTube is, you might make a video and it never even gets sent out. Like if you're not in front of people's faces multiple times a week, they kind of forget about you.
Yeah. And also like if you're streaming and like one person is watching, mm-hmm. I don't think it's worth it. I think you need to network more and like put yourself out there. I think streaming is something like extra for your viewers, It's like once you built your audience, that's why when like stuff started taking off for me, I didn't stream right away because I kind of wanted to build, the audience. But
yeah, I guess it's like you either start streaming or you bring in streaming way later. I mean, if you want like a YouTube tip, I think expanding is dangerous. Like I think early on, if you try to spread too thin, I mean, there's multiple trains of thought. One of my favorite inspirational dudes, Gary Vee, is like get on everything, do TikTok, do Instagram, do Twitter, do Snapchat, do this, and I think that is a strategy. But like especially when you're starting out, like I don't know, I would personally emphasize like cultivating either like a Twitch base or a YouTube base and then branch out. But
yeah.
Jackie wants to know, where's the Galaxy background? Can you solve that for us live on camera?
Because you know what? I'm going to try and do it, and it's not going to work. It's behind the green screen, guys. It is behind the green screen. I also would say if you're a newer creator and you have like low viewership and things like that, I would say don't be afraid to make disposable content that's not like picture perfect and stuff. Because like it's more about the messaging at first.
That is
like
such an interesting like debate, I think, between like content until you find the right thing versus like only having quality. I think like
so I've seen people like 4K quality, like ton of editing, over editing. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you could have probably got the same, I don't know. It's bad to say. Cause I feel like quality, I put like, first when I make videos, but like starting out, I feel just put out videos, just, have your name out there. And then I think it's something to see your audience, like, see yourself grow in front of your audience is kind of
that cool is too. Really fun. Yeah, I guess maybe it's like a later down the line thing, because I think about what you said earlier about like having so much variety is kind of not favored in YouTube anymore, and it's almost like if you have like one good thing that you do, keep doing that. But especially if you're just starting out trying things, you can always delete videos. You can always start a new channel. You can always mess around. So
the first video on my channel is not the first video I put out. It was bad.
Mine is. I left it.
Really? I should have left it. it was me like it was me unboxing a Switch.
That's
And
cute.
it was
Man,
like filming my
dude, do you know what console I had when I started out? I was playing on freaking PS3, original Wii, and Xbox 360, and you're starting on Switch. What a baby.
I mean, actually, I started out pretty much on like Wii U,
Yeah.
playing Splatoon and stuff. Yeah, and I still film on an iPhone, so there you go. So you don't need crazy equipment.
That
Although I
that
do
that
need
one is like, I mean, I would never advocate not to have quality, but if it's not easy for you, like that's not going to be the thing that stops. Or rather, quality is not going to be the thing that puts you over the top. You know what I mean? Like you can spend $1 million on equipment and have the greatest setup ever, and if you don't have the personality or the ideas of the content, it's not gonna go there. I like Wendy and Donner's question.
That's a great one.
If you guys weren't doing this, what career would you have instead?
This is kind of a tough one because right before the pandemic and stuff, I was working in hotels. Like I come from a like cooking background, but I started with hospitality and I was like, in management.
Nice.
So I think I would have continued that path. Like I literally had like a bunch of interviews lined up, like at like Hilton and stuff like that, and it was going really well. So I think I would still be in that field. I'm interested in you though, because you've been doing this full time for a while now.
My go-to is like I love kids, I love coaching, I love speaking. So some sort of teaching, like an English teacher who also coached the basketball team. I think that, I mean, I still want to do that eventually. I don't know. I love video games, I love YouTube, but I do want to at some point maybe double up and
Coach a team.
Save the world. Yeah, make this crazy world a bit of a better place.
What position did you play?
I played shooting guard, point guard. I was like I was the kid who was phenomenal until puberty hit because I did not grow until way later. So I was 5'2" entering high school, and then I grew 10 inches my freshman year, so I was 6 foot. But yeah, so like I was like a 20-point a game scorer in like elementary and middle school, and then like, oh my gosh, everyone's huge and muscular and I'm a shrimp. And the funny part is when I grew those 10 inches, I also got my wisdom teeth that year. I was sick all the time. So I kid you not, Pat, I literally probably gained like 0 to 2 pounds and grew 10 inches. So I was like, a skinny kid gets even skinnier. This is awesome. Like if you think I'm skinny now, man, I should pull out some like freshman year photos. Literally gonna blow away in the wind.
I could see Zach as a coach. Come on, guys! Goodness gracious!
I'm super positive though.
Yeah,
it is kind of the same thing. Like it does carry over. It's funny. Goodness gracious.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, here's one. Here's like a very general one.
Okay.
Ali0430 says, why do you think Animal Crossing is such a big success?
I mean, the game as a whole is a big success, I think, because it's cute, it's accessible, it has people coming back for more, there's a reason to keep playing. The design concepts are like kind of universal. Like not everyone wants to go play a first-person shooter, and not everyone wants to go and play an intense strategy game, but like most people kind of want to design something or make their own look good. But like this one in particular, it's going to be a 30 million seller at some point. And I think the pandemic, like kudos to it for helping Animal Crossing launch into the stratosphere. I still think ACNH is successful, very successful without the pandemic, but I don't think it is the second best-selling game in Japan of all time after 4 months. Second best-selling game in Japan of all time after 4 months. What in the world?
It's nuts.
Crazy.
I mean, I want to like. I feel like the easy answer is the pandemic. I mean, it did help out quite a bit. I mean, but also like Nintendo's lineup this year is not good. Like I like Paper Mario, but I'm not interested at all because like Animal Crossing is so great. I think people forget that Animal Crossing has been a success now on 2 different systems. Like New Leaf was a big success on the 3DS, and people still play it now. I think that you could say pandemic, you can say whatever you want. This is a great game, and I think the longevity comes from the system that Animal Crossing has in place, the real life clock. the daily tasks. You know, you're constantly building your island. There's just a ton to do, and especially like, you know, we're living in a time now where games get updated as frequent as they do. You know, a game like City Folk came out and that was it. Like the first Animal Crossing came out and that was it. And like month to month now, we're getting new gameplay mechanics and new updates. So like, yeah, I think pandemic has a lot to do with it, but at the same time, this team cares about this game. Like we're very critical about this game, but it's one you're going to look back on and be like, this is one of the greatest games that Nintendo's put out in the
I
last
love
20
what you
years.
say about like the right game for the right time, like just generationally and era wise as well. Because like you're right, this game is made for online updates. This game is made for online multiplayer. This game is made for sharing islands. And yeah, there was some of that obviously in New Leaf, but it really is in full swing here where certain games, you know, aren't as affected by something like that, but the creativity on display, and honestly, it's made for the YouTube era, the Twitch era. Like I think it has been enhanced just by Animal Crossing in 2020 is a better Animal Crossing than Animal Crossing in 2010 or 2005 or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And we're seeing with other franchises too. Like it's not just Animal Crossing. Every single franchise that comes out on the Switch is setting records, and it's really cool to see. But I think Animal Crossing, the quality is just incredible. So I think that's why people can say it's a pandemic game. But
yeah, you can take it on the go. You can play it at home. It really, the Switch is just like made for Animal Crossing.
Okay. Aaron Bell, here's a good one. Have either of you played Sims? If so, what things from Sims would you want implemented in Animal Crossing?
That's easy. I got it. Children.
Okay.
I want the villagers to have baby villagers.
All right. Well, as much as I would love Eric and Fauna to have children, I don't know. It's
too
weird.
much for you?
Baby villagers?
Too much for you?
I mean, there is technically baby villagers with the kangaroos.
Yeah.
I could kind of see that. They would just like follow.
New Dr. NPC? Come on.
Okay.
You don't want to see a pregnant Snooty?
And that's Zach, guys. He's new, and no, I do not want to see that ever. Actually, I think. Where do I go from here? I think all the interior like design options and stuff from The Sims, like there is you can customize everything with The Sims. So I think if they took some of that, and also The Sims are not afraid to introduce new expansion packs. There's a ton. If there's any like Sims fanatics here, like they've probably bought every single pack. Where it's funny that people complain about Animal Crossing being $60 and paying for more content when people pay like hundreds of dollars for Sims. And I mean, it is EA, but like I don't know, like that's what I like about them. They come out with zany things, like they're wacky. There's aliens. Nothing really makes sense in Sims. I want some of that zaniness.
That'd be cool. That'd be fun. I mean,
I would say
they dip their toes like with the 3:33 a.m. alien broadcast.
Yeah. And also the soundtrack on Sims.
You're a big Sims guy.
Can't understand it.
No?
Not really.
No, so much.
I know. I mean, I'm a fan of the game, but I don't play it. Yeah. That could be a thing, right? Let's see. Yeah, The Sims has tons of packs.
There's a lot of varying opinions on Sims. Sims is my life. Sims is terrible. I've bought all the packs. I refuse to buy them.
Here's one. Do you wish you had more control of your villagers? For example, placing the items you give them and decorating their homes, or choosing when they wear outfits you give them? Or do you like the randomness?
I think the randomness is fun, but that's because I don't have as much of an eye for design like as somebody like you. I'm assuming you would say the latter.
Yeah, it would be cool. Like, I'm still not leaving a possibility of like a Happy Home Designer spinoff. Like, I don't know, or they just add it to an island or something like that. It would be very cool if like Cranston came up to you and said, my house just isn't really what I wanted. I kind of want an orange theme with this particular item, and then you could do like that'd be cool.
I like that, like tasks from the villagers or the NPCs that kind of encourage you to spice up either an area of the island or a home. That'd be pretty fun. I like that.
Yeah. Although I do think we should have control over their wardrobe. Like you can tell Isabel to get rid of something, but I think that's just for the day. So I want
I
more
like
of
this
that.
one from Crunchy Allen. He says he needs Tom Nook and Timmy and Tommy in Smash Bros. Ultimate. What Animal Crossing character or villager would you want in Smash Bros?
Oh
Because they
my
have Isabelle
god.
and Villager, like just to be clear.
Isabel's in there. That's it, right? Or no, they have
Villager and
Villager.
Isabelle, yeah.
Okay. Who could do some damage? I think maybe it's weird because they're like cute and nice and they don't really do anything.
I mean, Isabelle definitely doesn't look like she's beating people up, but she's in
Tom
there.
Nook isn't beating people up. Maybe no. Red looks stupid. He's top heavy, falling around. Uh, I think Resetti could do some
Okay.
damage. Let's bring Resetti back in a big way. Smash. Oh, Kurt. Yeah, Kurt could throw some hands.
I want the Ice Climbers are like a brother sister tandem character. I want the Dodo brothers, Orville and Wilbur, to get in there and do some tag team action.
Oh, or just be like a 10-minute loading screen.
Every time you pick them, it's like, please wait. They're descending. Hold on. It's a seaplane. That would be amazing. Oh, Brewster. What are we talking about, Pat? Brewster in the game. Throwing coffee cups, burning people with hot cocoa.
I can see that. I can see that.
Do you play much?
It's not
Do you play
Craig.
much Smash? Not Craig.
I don't. I don't play much Smash.
I did. I
used
I
to.
loved it when it first came out. Like I was so gung ho for the fact that they added like Ridley and K. Rool and like so many cool new characters, but I haven't. It's hard to keep up with competitive games for me.
Splatoon was my game. Played that a ton.
You looking forward to a third?
I think we're getting a third.
I mean, it's been 3 years.
I know, and it's like I hope this isn't one of the like Nintendo's plans to like keep it once a generation, like I mean, or like once a console or something. I don't agree with that. Oh, here we go. Oh, I have a perfect answer for this. Shooken says, "Would you want Resetti to be implemented in more ways?" I personally do. I miss him. If so, how? Mr. Resetti, again, a face of the franchise who's just out of this game. I think he's rescue service. So basically, he would like punish you for like resetting your game a bunch, and he would yell at you. He'd be really mean. I think someone said this before, but I think like if they added caves and like mining to this game, he'd be the perfect guy. You mine for like diamonds and jewels and stuff. He'd be the face of that.
I had someone throw that on my weekly like fan updates series a couple weeks back of like, go hunt for gemstones, and when you go down into the ladder down into the cavern, like Resetti's down there, and either you can trade him the gemstones for gear or items. But yeah, I'd love to see him hang out down there. Although like he is a face, but I think about how high strung and anxious and stressed people have been during the pandemic, and there would probably be some epic but sad YouTube videos of like kids or even adults like getting yelled at by Resetti and just breaking down. Like, I'm just trying to play Animal Crossing. This is supposed to be my relaxation.
Okay, we need to toughen them suckers up because Resetti was a part of my childhood and he yelled at me all the time. Why is this becoming Minecraft? I think it would open the possibilities of like the DIYs, like collecting gold, and it would be another form of currency. I think. Like, imagine a diamond being worth like $1 million.
Well, and since we don't think they're past my bedtime, Pat, we don't think there's going to be expansion of the island, but I mean, and they won't let us go higher than 3 levels, so we got to go down. Where else can we go? Do you think we ever get to go to like a big island? That's something that like people talk about a lot, like a shopping island or a games island. Do you think that ever happens?
I want to say yes. I think City Folk is my second favorite Animal Crossing game, which that's very unpopular opinion. I feel like the original one and New Leaf are way better in people's minds. I love City Folk, and I loved the element of the city and how it was off of your island. So it's like if you wanted to go shopping, you'd have to kind of escape it. I think either a multiplayer island would work, and I think an expansion to Harv's. Like, what the heck is Harv doing there?
Being creepy.
He has exclusive fencing. It's a very creepy, empty cabin. Like, that island, I want to explore. It looks weird. I want to do it.
So, I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but this idea of like using the camera to photograph things at Harvey's Island, I think is such a cool concept. Like if it was like Animal Crossing Snap, like Pokemon Snap, but in AC, where you had like, oh, go
Yeah.
capture 10 birds, go capture 5 bugs, and you got to go snap some photos. I think that'd be a cool way to make Harvey's Island.
Yeah.
Like, he is the photo guy, so it would add up.
That would work. And it could even be like scavenger hunt type things, like find, take a picture of Lily of the Valley, and there's literally one on the entire island,
Right.
and you have to go find it, and it like resets every time or something like that.
That'd
Yeah,
be good.
I would just like it a bit better. So, anyway, guys, I think that is going to be the first relaunch episode. I want to say a big thing to the community for welcoming
Thank you,
Zach
guys.
in such a big way, because like, changing a show up, it always doesn't, sometimes doesn't work out. And I feel like Zach was at the top of my list. This is going to be good. But
It is now New
how'd you
Talk
like it,
Live.
Zach? New Talk Live. Like I said, the audio version is going to be up within a week. I'm going to work on it. So it's not going to be up right away, but you can watch this replay over on my channel. It will go up like, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes after this, and then the chat will load in after this. But thank you guys very much for welcoming Zach.
Thanks, everybody. Fantastic first show. We'll be back next week. Got those new segments, rotating new segments, like a carnival,
Those
basically.
those new rotating segments. I can't wait for that. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us, and we will see you again next Wednesday.
And
Peace out,
stay
guys.
tuned, because tomorrow there could be a trailer recording of Pat, so that could be the most exciting.
Tomorrow.